So that was Schmirko's The Ultimate Link Monster. Quite the beast it was, wasn't it? Especially the Link Monster. Not gonna lie though, I kind of thought it would be like, okay, it's Tamash's deck. I saw the gods in that sort of trailer thing. Odds are, we're gonna use the new 5-headed dragon Link Monster. But probably not with the gods killing it. No, that was just a flashback. Still, would have been an interesting concept. That was just my opinion, you know, my theory of what was gonna happen. Still, you know. As for story, I gotta go through like story, characters, and all that jazz. So in terms of story, not much. Schmirko wants to check out a Cyber's deck, see how powerful it is, bring Link monsters into a game, duels a robot, beats the robot, wins, and gives his deck to Agaton. Pretty simple, straightforward. Honestly, the most interesting thing about the story is really like the lore of the castle and stuff like that, and more accurately the stuff with Agaton and the Leho flashback, which wasn't an RLDS because he got retconned into the series, but it wasn't really a retcon, just add in between things. It's like, it's not contradicting anything that exists, it's just one of those things where it's just added in. Anyway, the point is it's nice to know more of that behind-the-scenes information, considering we skipped that in RLDS. Most likely because Schmirko wasn't part of the channel at the time. Yeah. It was kind of, like, I imagine what happened was, since we saw from the flashback, is that, like, odds are Leho and Agaton faced Schmirko most likely either for fun, or it was a simple misunderstanding and they thought he was a bad guy, and knowing about how Schmirko is, Schmirko probably wiped the floor with both of them. Like, maybe they got a life point damage or two, but probably not. Had too much damage to lose. Maybe they got him on the edge of the ropes, who knows, really. But, most likely, from what I could tell, it looks like Schmirko was going to finish off Leho first, and then Agaton's like, no, Buster Blader, intercept it. And odds are that whole thing of sacrificing himself for Leho gave him an extra level of respect in Schmirko's eyes, and as a result, gave him the Cyber's deck. Now, what Agaton's been doing with the Cyber's deck is entirely his own fault, but, you know, well, it's not so. I make it sound like Agaton's bad with the deck. He's not bad with the deck, even though he may misplay every once in a while, but show me a duelist who doesn't misplay every once in a while, and I'll show you a sin against humanity. But the point is, it is interesting in sort of lore backstories that have to it, you know? I thought Schmirko would be summoning the gods, but they didn't even show up, so I was wrong about that. In terms of characters, it's just the Schmirko solo story, and Schmirko's fine for his own character. It's just one of those things where it's like, I brought up in the early a lot, I'm just like, what's the build for all this stuff, you know? Like, if he says from his own world, who knows, maybe he's part of a different dimension where you don't have to pay taxes. Or maybe Germany just has that good of a healthcare system or something like that. Like, maybe there's something about Germany that I don't know about. Yes, government, I would like to buy my own castle with its own dueling system and an endless corridor. Would that be fine? Oh yeah, sure, what's the problem? Germany's really come a long way since what they were most famous for. Sorry if I brought up any old wounds, but it happened. That was probably going too far, but whatever. Who knows? Maybe it was big enough. Doubt it. Anyway. The duel, everything's in CGI in this thing, and I gotta admit, looks good. Like, there's parts of it where you can tell, like, okay, this is clearly CGI, but for the standards of a guy who lives, like, just like a random schmuck in Germany who's working his ass off on this sort of level of detail, that's respectable in some regards, right? Like, Revelations is all CGI, but for some reason no one gets on that series' case for all the CGI, but that's mostly because we realize he's just some average guy, you know? Schmirko's the same story, just some average guy who's just working his ass off for the love of a Yu-Gi-Oh series. Can't disrespect that. Even if it may not look perfect at times, you're a fan, and if this was something that came out of Hollywood, all bets are off. But this is just some random guy who's just working his ass off, so that's totally respectable and understandable, you know? And I think it looks good overall. Like, everything with the room and how the dueling machine comes down is clearly CGI'd in, but other than those two parts, it's fine. I do like the extra detail that Schmirko added into the effects and stuff like that, like, we're actually echoing voices. Like, he didn't have to do that. There was no reason he didn't need to do that, but he wanted to do that so it felt more atmospheric. Because he knew it would feel wrong if they were in this giant room and there was no echoing. So I like that extra level of detail. I would love to know how Schmirko got in this giant hallway system. Like, I get the one green screen room to another green screen room. I have no idea how he did the hallway system, because that looked like it's actually there. Like, or maybe it was CGI and it's just really impressive in that part, so it doesn't do that much. Doubt it, though. It seems highly unlikely. Maybe there's just some sort of underground corridors in, like, Germany or something. Or maybe the castle exists in real life. Who knows anymore? Hard to say, hard to leg. yeah, the duel itself was epic as all get out, so it was fun to watch. Again, there were a couple misplays in terms of rulings and stuff like that, but it didn't kill the episode for me. Like, it's one of the, plus, yeah, it's one of those things that kind of bugs you, but you kind of just move on after that. Like, it doesn't destroy the entire duel for it. I mean, it just kind of sucks that that happened early on, you know? Like, if it happening at the end of the duel was one thing, it happening at the, the beginning of the duel was like, oh crap. Then again, you can understand why Schmirko would not want to change that part, because then you have to do the whole duel over again, and it's so epic as is. Why change what's... Sometimes you don't change what's broken, because the product that's given out is better than it was before. I know that rarely happens in real life, but sometimes it happens. I can't give you an example, but I kind of can. I think if, like, if every sausage was perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs or something like that. Or, like, if every zucchini was perfect, we wouldn't have pickles, or vice versa. Something like that along those lines. Like, sometimes a mistake can be a happy accident, you know. Either way. Okay, not to mention I have seen far, far worse in terms of rulings from Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. First thing that comes to mind is Itachi's old Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel School series, where they just completely fuck up the rulings of Stardust and a bunch of other cards and just make them whatever suits the plot for just a terrible duel that's just bad. I've seen worse, Mirko, so, you know, everyone has a mistake every once in a while. Nothing's perfect. I mean, you could have made up cards. It could have been worse. You could have just made up cards. I mean, yeah, he probably used an anime card if I assume the spool card is, you know, a fake card. Or not a fake card, an anime exclusive card, but, you know, if it does exist, so be it. And if it was an anime card, at least he used a card that technically existed before and didn't just pull a card out of his ass like Revelations, Hungry 7, and a bunch of other series. You know, it could have been worse. So, yeah, I fully enjoyed this episode, this movie thing. I could probably say more about it, but there's not much to it, really. Just Schmirko dueling. It's epic to watch, and I love all the little details about, like, the 5,000 little Link Karibos that kind of remind me of, like, the actual Karibo and its multiply thing where it detonates on, like, 1,000 Eyes Restrict and stuff. I like the little Easter eggs and stuff like there. I imagine this was a bitch to edit and render and all the extra shit, and I'd be amazed if we ever saw anything like this again on Schmirko's channel. But, as Schmirko said, he said that there would never be a sequel or something like that to this. He never said he would never do another one. He just said he would never make a sequel to this. So, you know, I'm not saying he's going to do it anytime soon or anything like that, so don't get your hopes up on that one. I'm just saying it could happen, like, 2025. Like, just to pull a number out of my hat, you know? Or out of Schmirko's hat. You know, you never know. Again, as Schmirko said, only the future knows and all that jazz. Kind of sucks about all the copyright stuff, but we all go through it sometimes. Real life's a bitch. Everyone complains about cop and all that crap, but meanwhile, that's just YouTube in general. What's that? There's another apocalypse on YouTube? It's still standing. Just like the planet. It's the end of the world! Except no, we're still just fine. Like, maybe it gets a little harder, but it's not the end of the world. It just kind of sucks. But I'm getting off topic completely. Either way, this was a great movie, and I'm more than happy that I watched it. Yeah, again, the misplays don't destroy the entire duel, they're just more nitpicks, you know? And I'm kind of a fan of the whole Shining Draw thing Schmirko did, but I can just talk that one up to, like, Heart of the Cards. I mean, I personally just prefer Heart of the Cards over Shining Draw, because Shining Draw is blatantly stated as cheating. Heart of the Cards is just believing in your deck. And yeah, you could say that's also cheating and stuff, considering how often you can top decks, but it sounds nicer, you know? It sounds nicer, is the kind of more thing. Sometimes people will favor things that sound nicer over things that are more accurate, you know? I don't know. Anyway, congratulations on 5 years, Schmirko. And, well, as he said, Merry Christmas to you all, even though it's not Christmas yet, but you know what I'm trying to say. Till next time, see ya.